On this episode of Simply Brilliant, I'm joined by Bart Pierce, and we're sitting here in Mount Hood. By way of introduction, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself and what it is that you do, and then I'll share my experiences with you and the audience, and then also we can talk a little bit about why you come here for 19 years in a row. Sure. So what is it that you do? Where do you hail from? Tell us about your business.
Well, I'm Bart Pierce, and I'm from Pierce Skate and Ski in Bloomington, Minnesota. And I'm the third generation to own and operate our family business that my grandfather started in 1936.
That's great. Congratulations.
Thank you. It is nice to see when hard work actually pays off. And my grandfather started in ice skates. My parents added skis or ski equipment in '65 through their interest in the sport itself. Plus, they saw it as an opportunity to broaden our base. And in about 1980, when I graduated from college, I joined the family business, and happy to say that our 27-year-old son Tyler is now fourth generation and also actively involved in running our business. Parents are both retired, and my wife Terry, the brains behind the organization, is back home running the shop right now.
What do you think separates you from the average ski shop, or why does Eric, why did he invite you out here initially? And talk about that partnership and what brings you out here and how you do things.
Well, back in 1980 when we were running the shop, most anyone could make a logical living in the business. Ski equipment was being merchandised and sold by mass merchants, specialty shops. Most anyone that sold skis and skiing, they were able to make a viable living. Things certainly have changed with the internet, and there are a lot of different opportunities for people to purchase their equipment, and it became glaringly evident to me that we needed to do something to set ourselves apart that gave us a competitive advantage. I've invested $250,000 into tuning equipment that typically is only found in factories in Europe.
Amazing.
I remember being on a European factory tour, and our shop was known by the people happened to be at Nordica, and he said, what do you think of our tuning machine? And I said, I think it's awesome. It's the same as the one in our basement. And he said, oh, I know you by now. You're always joking. And I said, no, not now. That's the machine we have tuning skis in our basement at our shop. I said, I don't care what kind of car I drive as long as it runs, but I absolutely am obsessed with having the best equipment and having the best people running it so that the outcome is that skis are tuned well and skiing well. And with dealing with Eric, and you've been around him, it must be the best. I only want the very best. And it was a situation that, to some degree, the gauntlet was thrown down. I have to say I felt I had to prove myself to him. And it wasn't just I wasn't being just driven by, gee, this is going to be great for our business. I mean, it was a true desire to run a really good ski shop.
Right.
And over a long, long period of time, I earned, and we as a shop earned, Eric's endorsement, if so to speak.
The one question that I would have for you as we wrap this, and then I'd like to make sure that I address any questions that you may have.
Sure.
But for the people that are watching that aren't familiar with ski racing or Eric's camp or the level of coaches here, you've seen a lot. You've traveled a lot. You've worked with a ton of athletes. What are these junior racers like? I mean, what do they go on to do?
Well, I went through a bit of a list of those that I've worked with. Christina Kosnick, who went on to win 6 World Cup races and was just inducted into the U.S. Skiing Hall of Fame this last year.
Amazing.
Same Hall of Fame that Eric was inducted into as well. Lindsey Vonn, I put her in her first buckle ski boots, and was quite flattering. A week ago, Lindsey was actually back in
I
Minneapolis.
saw that on Snapchat. For those of you that don't
Yeah.
follow her on Snapchat, you can.
Okay.
So she was on Snapchat passing by Buck Hill and reminiscing about it.
Right. Well, she happened to be in town for a couple of reasons. One was at a mutual friend of ours, former Buck Hill racer. Hillary Lund was getting married, and so Lindsey was attending the wedding. But additionally, she was having a Lindsey Vonn Foundation function at the Orpheum Theater the Friday night preceding, the other reason she was in town, the wedding. And that Thursday, she was on multiple radio stations across the Twin Cities area, doing interviews and talking about her event. And I almost drove off the road when they said, well, what's been your motivation for, your foundation and, helping young women become confident young women, and also how young ladies deal with all of the social media.
Right.
Some of it good and a lot of it bad. And she said, well, when I was 9 years old, I went to Pierce Skate and Ski. She goes, you know where, she says right there in Bloomington, to see my hero in skiing, Picabo Street. And I remember having Picabo at the shop. She was a friend of Kaz's who they came in together. And she said, I met her and, started a relationship with Picabo, and she said that inspired me. And I thought, how much more rewarding can my job be? So, a worn out retail saw, and some people, when they hear it, they snicker or chuckle, but I've always remembered that, people don't care what you know until they know that you care.
Right.
And I truly believe our staff cares, and why wouldn't we? I don't know. I love what I do, and I can only tell people that, they're long days of retail, but it's not so much work when you love what you're doing.
Well, it's evident that you love what you're doing, and I think you're giving tons of people pleasure and satisfaction in doing what they love doing, which is great. And I've always enjoyed my time with you and my time with Eric, and coming out to Mount Hood and in Winter Park and
Sure.
Thanksgiving camp is something I always look forward to. And it's really not about my skiing either, right? I rarely ski at these events.
Yeah.
Winter Park, if we get some good snow, I'll do it. But otherwise, it's really just about passing and giving my kids the opportunity to meet great coaches.
Sure.
And be inspired and ski with great people and ski on great equipment. And they're doing a great job, and
Well, but you're also doing what we hope, this is the future of the sport, is we are passing the passion for the sport of skiing on to the next generation. And let's face it, we're creating memories.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because at a certain point in time, that's all you're going to have.
Exactly. Well, signing off from Mount Hood, and Bart, thank you so much.
you
I really
very much.
appreciate your time.
Appreciate it.
All right.